Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are continuing with Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 15, text number 2. Adascha chordhvam prastastasya sakya guna pravriddha vishaya pravalaha adascha mulani anustantani karmanubandhini manushya loke. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurudmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Thank you so much for joining, and we are continuing with chapter number 15. Krishna is continuing to explain about this big banyan tree. And simultaneously, in these few verses, he's also going to explain to us the formula for eternal happiness. How many of us, want to be happy? Now, if we say yes, that means we are not happy and we are looking for happiness. The happiness that we have is temporary. It's there one day and it's gone the next day. So here, Krishna is explaining the whole banyan tree to us so we can understand how this material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So we need to understand the banyan tree, which is upside down. Why? Because we are seeing the reflection. And it is a reflection of the spiritual world where the branches of the banyan tree, they are going upward and downward. And Krishna is explaining that this banyan tree is nourished by three modes of material nature. That's goodness, passion, and ignorance. And then Krishna explains to Arjuna that the twigs, they are like objects of senses. The roots, they are bound to fruitive work. What is fruitive work? We've learned in chapter 3 and 5, where we perform our actions, but we want to enjoy the results of those activities. So our intention to perform activity is to enjoy, that is fruitive work, which bounds us. Now, the lower branches, Krishna says, they manifest the different living entities, not just human beings, but all different living entities like human beings, animals, reptiles, aquatics, all of them. And the upper branches, they are the higher forms of demigods. Now, these three modes of material nature, they nourish the tree, not the water. In our material world, when we want to grow our plants, we water them. But here, Krishna is saying that this banyan tree, which is perverted reflection, is nourished by the three modes of material nature. So wherever more material modes are there are more living entities. So due to these different modes of material nature, different senses develop. And with the senses, we try to enjoy the sense objects. Whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we touch, we want to enjoy.
Sorry for the break, Gita Dasi ji.
Yes. So here Krishna is saying that due to these different modes, different senses are developed, and then we try to enjoy those sense objects. Now, the tips of the branches are the senses, and these senses are attached to enjoying different sense objects. Now, one may say, oh, this is so confusing. How to remember so many things like the modes and the branches and the twigs and the roots? How? The idea is to understand how the different modes of material nature are entangling us in this material world. We are sometimes in the mode of ignorance, sometimes in the mode of passion. Rarely we are in the mode of goodness. But the idea is to go above these three modes and come to pure goodness. So Krishna says the subsidiary roots which are there, they are the attachments and aversions and the byproducts of suffering and sense enjoyments. Now, the real root is Brahma Loka, which is the highest material planet where Lord Brahma resides. But Bhagavad Gita explains, Abrahma Bhavana Loka Punar Avartino Arjuna. Mam Upetya tu Kantaya Punar Janmana Vidyate. If we don't want Punar Janma, if we don't want to come back into this material world, then Krishna says, even if we go to the topmost material planet, which is Brahmaloka, we still have to come down. So, best thing is not to aim to go to heavenly planets, but instead aim for spiritual planet. When one goes to the spiritual planet, then one does not come down. So this tree, it seems complicated, but it is making us understand how one gets entangled, how one gets attracted to different sense objects. And then in the process, we forget the real goal of life, which is to break the cycle of birth and death. We forget. So here, Krishna is explaining in these few verses from verse 2 through 5 that it is very difficult to understand. It is very difficult to perceive this huge banyan tree which is upside down. It's beyond our conception. So, what should we do? Does that mean we should just forget it? No. Srila Prabhupada explains that anything that is beyond our conception, then we should accept the word of authority. We should accept the acharyas, the gurus that have come down in parampara and learn from them. If we try to figure out ourselves, it'll be very difficult. So it is difficult to understand where this tree begins, where it ends, what is its foundation. But Krishna wants us to cut down this tree. Now one may say, hey, let me take a big saw or something, an electric one, and go and cut some trees down in the backyard. No, he's talking about this particular tree. So he says, with determination, we can cut down this tree by developing detachment. Even though this tree is strongly rooted, all roots are spreading all over, they are intertwined and everything, but still, Krishna says it can be cut. And the best way is to become free from illusion, which is called Maya. And that is possible when we give up false association. Now, one may say, what is false association? Any association, anyone we associate with, is not helping us to remember the Supreme Lord, is helping us to get more entangled in this material world, is helping us to become more and more attached to sense objects. That is false association. And Bhagavad Gita is explaining to us the simple process. And it starts with taking on this knowledge, which we do on Sundays. Take this knowledge, contemplate on it, and then put it into practice. See? So if we really want permanent happiness, here is the formula given to us by Krishna, that if we want eternal happiness, then all we need to do is put Bhagavad Gita into practice. And it starts with mantra meditation. when we chant the holy names of the Lord. Now, if Krishna says if one is entangled in this material tree, then one cannot see the other end. One cannot understand the extension of this tree. And because it's difficult to understand, that's why we accept the Shastras, like the Bhagavad Gita, which is nothing but word of Krishna. And Krishna, being our supreme father, spiritual father, he's telling us, he's giving us the knowledge about this material world. He's telling us, giving us knowledge about where did we come from. We've come from the original home, which is spiritual world. Why have we come here? Because we wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna. And we've tried here in this material world to enjoy, but we are not finding eternal happiness. So here Krishna is saying, try to go back to the original home, the origin, which is the spiritual world. How? With the help of devotees. Take on this knowledge, put it into practice, and with determination, one can cut down this tree of entanglement. Then one will not get into the cycle of action and reaction. Then one will lead a karma free life. So, if one understands that this banyan tree, which is upside down, is just a reflection, even the happiness in this material world is just a reflection because it's temporary, then best is to cut off this connection. Then one may say, well, I'm living in the material world. How can I just cut off connection? That is, Krishna is talking about consciousness. We may still do everything that we are doing, go to work, do our job, earn money, eat, sleep, everything we may do, but we change the consciousness. That is how we can cut off this connection. But unfortunately, most people are so conditioned to enjoying. Anything that the eyes see, they want to enjoy. Anything that the ears hear, they want to enjoy, you see. And then that tendency is there to be the controller. So it becomes difficult to become detached. But Krishna says constant practice is necessary, and that will help us towards detachment. Knowledge, practice, constantly practice, that is how we will be able to cut down this material tree. So hearing is very, very important. When we hear the Bhagavad Gita, when we chant the holy names of the Lord in association of devotees, then we start developing that detachment gradually. So with the association of devotees, Krishna says we can cut down this tree. He keeps on reminding us again and again in each and every chapter that learn to surrender to Krishna. Learn how to become detached. Krishna doesn't gain anything by our surrender. He just wants us to be eternally happy. He wants to relieve us of all the sufferings in the material world. And He wants us to come back to the spiritual world, which is our original home, where there is eternal happiness. There is no misery at all. So, from Bhagavad Gita, when we understand, especially chapter 15, today we are covering verses 2 through 5, where Krishna is explaining that He is the root of everything. Everything comes from Him. This was explained in chapter 2 now also. Krishna explains, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mataha sarvam pravatati. Everything comes from me. So when everything is coming from Krishna, He is the root, He is the cause. So if we want to go back to Him, to the spiritual world, then the only way is performing bhakti yoga. And it starts with hearing, which we do on Sundays. We hear. We hear the knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita. And then when we chant, when we do mantra meditation on a daily basis, and when Krishna sees our sincere endeavors, then he favors us and he helps us on this path of bhakti yoga. But we need to take the first step. He will not take the first step. He does not want to interfere with our minute independence. He wants to give us that freedom of choice. So, the only way to come out of this material tree, Srila Prabhupada explains, is surrendering to Krishna. Then Krishna will help us to get detached from this material tree. That is the formula for eternal happiness. Now, the last verse for today, which is 5, Krishna is talking about surrender. What is the process to surrender? Because if, first of all, we need to make a choice. What do we want to do? Do we want eternal happiness? Yes or no? If our answer is yes, we do want eternal happiness, then the next step is to learn the process of surrender, because surrender will help us to get detached from this material tree. Now, Krishna says, to be able to surrender, there should be no false prestige, no illusion. One should be very, very clear about the goal of life. No illusion at all. No false association, no lust, no dualities. A person is not bewildered. These are the requirements for surrender. You see? And come to the stage where there is no pride at all. People in general become very proud of their achievements, of their education, proud of their family heritage, proud of their possessions, and start thinking, I'm greater than the others, I'm better educated, I'm more smart, I'm more talented. All these lead to one becoming very puffed up. You see? So this attitude cannot help one to surrender. That is not possible at all. Understand that when I came into this material world, I came with nothing. In fact, I didn't even wear clothes. Like I came naked into this material world, crying. And when I leave, I cannot take anything with me. So basically, nothing belongs to us. Everything comes from the Supreme Lord Krishna. We're just using it. But when we use someone else's property, then it's important that we use it in his service. So when we are using Krishna's property, then we need to use it in his service, you see. So with the help of Bhagavad Gita, we can understand Jivara Swarup Hoy Krishnara Nityadas, that we are eternal servants of Krishna. That is our Swarup, that is our constitutional position. So when we take on knowledge from Bhagavad Gita and, basically cultivate this knowledge. Now, what does that mean? Reading Bhagavad Gita is one thing. Hearing Bhagavad Gita is another thing. But hearing Bhagavad Gita intently is more important. Now, when we say intently, that means we are seriously trying to hear Bhagavad Gita. Now, that would mean that we are putting it into practice also. Hearing is good, but it's not good enough. We need to put it into practice. And that is when Bhakti Yoga starts. Now, if one wants to advance on the path of Bhakti Yoga, then humility is very important. Big question is, what is humility? Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice definition of humility, that one is not anxious to get the satisfaction of being honored by others. That means one is not looking for respect. One is not looking for honor from others. One is not anxious, to who is it who is giving me respect? Who is it who's not giving? No, there's no anxiety to get honor from others. And one is not, looking for that honor so that one feels satisfied. I'm such a great personality. that so many people respect me and honor me. No. And why is one so proud? It's because of illusion, right? What is illusion? It's called Maya, that which is not. So one gets illusioned, one is in Maya, and one thinks that I am the Lord of all I survey. And one forgets what is my real position. The real position is we are servants. Aren't we serving every day? First of all, we serve our body. We serve our mind. Whatever the mind says, we just run around fulfilling the desires. We are serving our senses, right? This one wants, eyes want to see something nice, ears want to hear something nice, tongue wants to taste some. We are just serving our senses. Then we serve our boss, we serve our spouse, our children, our family, our parents. Some of us serve our country. So we are serving all the time. So why not serve the master of the senses, Rishikesha, that is Krishna himself? You see? So if we understand, yes, I am a servant, and there's nothing wrong in being a servant. If we serve the Supreme Lord, then gradually we will understand that is my position. I'm an eternal servant. But because of illusion, we make things very complicated. We consider this land is mine, this house is mine, I'm the proprietor of this, and this. And then there are false claims to anything and everything. Important thing is to give up these designations. These designations belong to the body. And chapter 2 explains to us we are not this body. Dehino asmin yatha dehe kamaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra na mulyati. Krishna wants Arjuna to become a dhira, a sober person who understands that the spirit soul which is within the heart is traveling in the same body from boyhood to youth to old age, and at death it goes on to the next body. So Krishna is saying a sober person is not bewildered by such a change. A sober person understands I am the spirit soul, I'm encaged in this material body which is growing, right? We don't look the way we looked when we were 5 years old. Next year, we will look more older than what we are today. So the body is changing, but the spirit soul remains the same. And what is the eternal position of the spirit soul is to serve Krishna. If we do not serve the Supreme Lord, then we will remain bound up like this complicated banyan tree. This whole banyan tree is like the roots are everywhere, branches, twigs. It's just spread all over and intertwined. Even if we try to, separate the roots, it'll be impossible because banyan trees are really huge. So, the important point we understand from this banyan tree is that it is a perverted reflection of the original tree in the spiritual world, which means it is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So, whatever is happening here in the material world is opposite of what is happening in the spiritual world. Here, there is misery, there is permanent happiness. Here, there are sufferings. In the spiritual world, no sufferings at all. And why should we remain bound? No one likes to be bound up. Say someone comes and ties all your up, with rope or chains or whatever, and say, hey, go, you are now free. Says who? How can we be free if we are bound up? So, here in this material world, we are bound up by these three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance, and we still think I am free. So, why would anyone want to remain bound? In chapter 3, Krishna says, Yagnarthat karmanayatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. That when one does not perform activities for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, one remains bound. But when one performs activities like a yagna or a sacrifice, which means sacrifices the results of activities to the Lord, then that person becomes free. Mukta sangaha samar. Mukta becomes liberated and free. So Bhagavad Gita is teaching us, first of all, giving us knowledge who we are, informing us that we come from the spiritual world because we are spirit souls. We are Amsha, part of the Supreme Lord. That's where we belong. But right now, we are in the reflection of the spiritual world, which is the material world, and we are suffering. One may say, well, I am very happy. Don't tell me I'm suffering. I have a wonderful spouse, wonderful children, nice house, a nice job, a big fat bank balance. I am happy. Why do you say suffering? Well, there is suffering: birth, disease, old age, death. These are sufferings. No one can escape them. And Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, those who are born are sure to die. And after death, one is sure to be born again. Where? In this material world. But Bhagavad Gita gives us a solution. The process by which we can cut down this banyan tree, material tree, and go to the spiritual world to attain permanent, which means eternal happiness. It's teaching us how to become free, how to become liberated. See, if we are put in a prison house, are we going to be happy? No, because prison house is I tell my grandson, I want you to play outside in the backyard is fenced, and I tell him you just have to keep playing here all the time, and it's a very small backyard. After a while he's going to get bored up. It's like, oh, this I need to be free. I need to go out. I need to go to the park, or I need to go somewhere to play. This material world is like a backyard, fenced backyard for us. And we are just trying to enjoy in this fenced backyard. It's like a prison house. So, if we really want to come out of this prison house, which is the material world, then Bhagavad Gita is giving us the process of Bhakti Yoga that will help us to reach that supreme destination, which is the spiritual world. In spiritual world, there's a desire tree, Kalpavriksha. That desire tree, you just stand there, and whatever one desires, that desire is fulfilled. How many of us would want to go there? Because we have so many desires coming up in our heart every day. Every day. I heard someone say there are thousands of desires coming up, and very rarely they do get fulfilled. And even if they do get fulfilled, it's temporary. A new iPhone has come out. Let me buy it. After a few days, that happiness is gone. Why? Because, well, something else has come out. Something else has come out. And I want this and I want that. So there is no end to these desires. So Bhagavad Gita is teaching us that we need to cut down this banyan tree, which is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world, become free, anxiety free, karma free, desire free, and go back to the spiritual world. So we've covered till verse number 5, and we will continue with verse number 6. So I'm going to end now. If anyone has any questions or comments, we are welcome